What's going on, everybody else? I have been carving spoons and also reading Vasiṣṭhas Yoga. Vasiṣṭhas Yoga is a big old text. It was written in like the 1st century BC and then translated and reiterated a whole bunch of different times. And it starts with salutations to consciousness. It starts with being like, yo, hey, we salute the independent, that which thinks it's separate, and also that which is continuous and eternal, and not separate. And it got me thinking a lot about, well, number one, spoon carving, because that's what I was doing, and two, health in general and how we approach our healing processes, right? And so when we consider the totality of the block of wood that we have, right, when we consider the whole thing, right, we've got grains which go and flow in one direction, right? And when we cut with the grains, things tend to be smooth. When we cut against the grain, things tend to get really rough, right? And so when we see ourselves as independent, when we see ourselves as separate, things get a little rough because we feel like we're constantly in competition. We feel like we're constantly pushing against other things, other beings, even ourselves. When we stop and when we slow down and we look and we see how interdependent everything is, how everything happens in relationship, things start to change, right? Our relationship towards ourself becomes a little different. We don't see our symptoms anymore as being this thing that's happening to us. We see it as something that like, oh, hey, maybe I've contributed to this in some way. What can I do to help alleviate these symptoms? How can I flow and move in my day-to-day schedule so that way I'm making solid cuts as opposed to rough cuts? How do we create this aspect of smoothness in ourselves? And we don't talk a lot in Western culture about how our relationship to the healing process changes how we heal, right? And so have that conversation with yourself if you want, right? Don't let me tell you what to do, but if you would like, right? How do you relate to your own body? How do you relate to the symptoms that pop up in your life? How do you relate to the environment around you, to your family, to your friends, to your town? Right? And sometimes things need to change, right? There's aspects of spoon carving where you have to apply a little bit more effort and make things rough in order to get the desired effect. The same thing is true with your life. Sometimes we have to shake things up a little bit, and doing so intentionally changes how we heal. So those are just my thoughts for today. I'll probably have more tomorrow or the day after. Who knows? Maybe more spoons too.